Howdy. About a year ago, there was this kind of drought situation in Central Europe, and I made some videos about that. And I also made videos about those stones, the hungerstones. This one in the Elbe River is from 1616 and says, "If you see me, cry." Because back in the days, there has been so little water that people were starving. That's the whole reason for why they carved those words in the stones, because you can see the stones only if there is very little water in the river. I have been writing about water, mountain water in particular, the water which comes from the mountain, which is a thing not many people think about because it's just as it is. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. Yet there's some talk about climate change and retreating glaciers and stuff like that, but I got teach that stuff in school since I have been to school in Switzerland, which has a mountain or two. And I have been talking about the droughts, I have been writing about the water, I have been writing about the possibility or theory or point of view, however you want to call it, of glaciers being actual lava streams made of water. They are not created by snow accumulation or stuff like that. Of course, there is also that too. But mainly, the ice is coming out of the ground, basically. And it's also no surprise that very often, if you see some or find some ancient glacier, or in other words, a glacier which doesn't exist anymore, you will find a lake at the place where the lake once or the glacier once started. A crater. But anyway, a year ago, we had the hungerstones. And at the moment, there is flooding going on in Central Europe in many places. Austria, Switzerland, Italy, Germany, I guess, or not yet, maybe, but soon, because the River Rhine is flooding. And it is flooding still around the Lake Constance, and the water amount is immense. And today I found a live cam from the Rhine fall in Schaffhausen, Switzerland, which is the biggest waterfall in Europe. And you can drive there on the rock with a ferry. You get really wet if there's a lot of water. And you can climb up here. And actually, we can zoom in. You can go up to these rocks. I've been there several times. I've been there even once when there wasn't really water, which was very interesting. The waterfall, Europe's biggest waterfall, and there's no water. But anyway, we can go, I think, maybe a little bit back some hours. The thing is, why I will put a link below, we can probably follow the rise of the water also here. Maybe the color of the water is going to change or something. I don't know how much is going to be visible, if there is anything visible here. But this is a live stream. I didn't knew that something like this is available. But I think it's interesting. And just look at the landscape. Yeah, that's quite a waterfall for one of Europe's biggest river. I've been writing about this. Check out the mountain water paper. And the thing is, back then in the last year when I talked about those hungerstones and stuff like that, I have been talking also in the paper I wrote. Maybe I should show it quickly. Just in case for someone who hasn't ever heard about the whole thing. New concepts in global tectonics, journal, mountain water, a new approach to mountain forming, volcanism, glaciers, and the role of water in an electric environment. Abstract. People settle near water. Almost all life forms need water. Water is very important for life on Earth. You can disagree or agree about the things I have been writing down here in this paper. There is also geology in this theme. We have real scientific articles and stuff textbooks, and geoscientists may be wrong about how the Alps were formed. Yeah. That's when I thought that, check it out. If they agree or they admit the textbooks and the geoscientists may be wrong about how the Alps were formed, it seemed to me that they probably don't know. So let's give it a go. Is there any possibility for a non-scientist, a layman, to make any sense of that? So this is my attempt about Alps, about the forming of mountains in general, and we have the River Rhine with the Dragon Castle in Germany. Yeah, dragons, eagles, lions, bears, unicorns, and griffins. Let me just show you some pictures. Pile dwellings around the Alps. The one which are here in the picture, I don't know if I can zoom in. We can zoom in. Pfahlbauten, Unterhuldigen. They are at the Lake Constance where the flooding is going on, which will go downhill as the river goes. And the Lake Constance is discharging into the River Rhine. Once again, the River Rhine. We have a volcano here. And I just recently made some video once again about the region of Singen in Germany, which is not on this map, actually. It would be somewhere here. But anyway, we are talking about the Romans, about the thermal baths, and also about fulgurites. Here you see one. That's maybe 15 meters. That's a big fulgurite. There are several of those in the Hell Cellar, how the place is called. And just a stone throw, almost literally, a stone throw from the fulgurites, we have the thermal baths, which are here in Baden. That's the Limmat, which is gonna go into the Aare, which is then joining the River Rhine. And then it makes a 90-degree turn and goes northwards. And somewhere here, just to the side, there has been an earthquake which even broke the news in Switzerland. A 3.2 or something. We have geothermal features in Europe. Yeah. There are a bunch of rather hot spots, especially if you look to Turkey. But anyway, we have sea urchin spines, we have micronovas, and where is it? There's somewhere the picture. But this is just one of the possibilities. We have a solar flare. That's on the sun. That's a flare. And here's Europe. We have a volcano here and a volcano up here. So there might be this arc jumping through that, and here we had this discharge, which is the same thing as here, happened on the sun. And the region where this thing emerged created the Alps. But it's just what I think, one of the possibilities. And the reason why I made the video about the hungerstones and the River Rhine, about the water in general, is that I warned already back then that, you know, the water will come back and probably will come back with force. And maybe now it seems that it does so. Let me just search quickly for some news article. So that's 20 minutes.ch, maybe one of the last free newspapers from Switzerland. That's the River Rhine. All clear in Ticino. Maybe not so, but they had also rather strong situations, so to say. All clear in Ticino, but the situation here remains precarious. After the heat wave comes the heavy rain, there is a risk of flooding in some regions of the country. Floods in Biasca. That's the southern part. And the water which falls down there in the alpine regions will discharge into the Po region, the river Po, where they are trying to grow rice and stuff like that. And maybe now, after the summer, there should be the rice, gathered together in order to produce food for the people. And now there's the possibility that it could be destroyed because there has been thunderstorms and stuff already before, and now we have it also in the Alps region, which will take a little bit time until it reaches the flat area of the Po River. And Venezia, Venice, Venedig, they are going to experience some problems probably too. Abfluss und Wasserstand. On the Rhine, the discharge peak was reached after 2 p.m. on Monday afternoon, but the water level is still high. Yeah, but this doesn't tell us where this is. Let's see if there's some picture. I have never seen the stream like this before, says Joël from Dubach. About the water level in Goldach. The puddle was already formed in the meadow next to the river. That's the southern part. Enormous amounts of water are currently flowing down the Goldbach. And all this will accumulate into the River Rhine. As this picture shows, the Goldach is actually more of a river. Normally less than 1 cubic meter of water flows per second. Now it's over 50. So this is maybe some normal state of this river, and it's now like this. Maybe. I don't know. So this is how nature works. It will provide the opposite. First it's dry, and then it's really wet. And the water is coming back with force, as I have been warning. Danger level 3 in Diepolzau. Other passes closed. Yeah, there is winter coming in also in the Alps. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, that's a funny picture. Check it out. Solar-powered rockfall. Yeah. It's the sun after all, which induces the energy. Yeah. There are yellow rocks there in the background. Would be interesting if there's some sulfur in those rocks. Yeah. Anyway, danger of flooding for citrus, which is a town, Sitterdorf. God's house. God's house. The rain is above all a blessing for agriculture. Yeah, maybe it's gonna be too much. I can't currently say whether the hail, squalls, and landslides and floods have caused isolated damage to agricultural crops. In other words, all of those created probably very big damages to the crops. This is what he's trying to say but can't. That's why I tell it to you. Reading the news for beginners. But anyway, I leave it here before I say too much. The winter is here. After very hot summer, already we have the winter coming. It's gonna be probably a fierce winter for Europe. Get the firewood still. Now, in a month or so, it's probably already too late. If you have things you should do before the winter or for surviving the winter, do them now. Yes. Thank you.